is just one aspect in planning a celebration. RazorTV also talks to wedding planners to find out if they're offering cheap deals or whether their customers have gone thrifty.
Love and marriage, they say, should last for better or worse till death do us part. But if that's the case, then in this economic downturn, there's no reason to put off wedding plans. But the question is, are you willing to splurge to get the dream wedding you desire? If you've got to trim the fat, where do you cut cost first?
Business has actually picked up, but in terms of cost spending, it's definitely been cut down. I mentioned about cutting back on things like invite cards, from velvet cards to maybe a better quality card, for example, or from spending on hydrangeas, they go down back to roses, for example.
Recently, in terms of the needs and expectations, like you mentioned briefly about the invite cards and stuff, but other things what are they willing to splurge on?
Two core groups. One is the bridal gown or the suit for the matter. The other core group will be your photography or media. Could be videography, could be photography. Yeah, so these two couples won't want to compromise too much on that. Yeah. Everything
else they'll just compromise then, or able to downgrade?
Downgrade, well, more on decor per se. Usually floral or fabric in that sense, or right down to wedding cards. The core groups usually won't waver too much because it's what the wedding's all about at the end of the day. Yeah.
What about picking like venues and are they a little bit more? You see them sort of a bit more cautious when it comes to because of the cost.
Well, practical terms, I guess it's yes. End of the day, the couple don't want to lose too much out of the venue location. For example, for at hotel banquets, for example. So with that, the average on the market now is about 1,001 or so. But some hotels can be quite competitive, so they go about the 1,000 range or about 900 plus. Yeah, so that's when I advise couples on a contract basis with the hotels what to look out for, how to look out for the loopholes per se.
Cutting back on decor and invites may be an easy solution to reduce your wedding bill. But I was curious to know if there were any other special or quirky requests made by couples to further cut costs.
Any sort of stories to share on that? Yeah.
I guess quirkiness comes in when there's a theme involved. You've got your nice theme where if there's a Shanghai theme, and the couple really wants the whole party, the whole wedding guests to dress up in cheongsams and in olden Shanghai with fans and bird cages and cigars and opium pipes and stuff. Yeah, so that's on one side, which is all in good sense perfectly, perfectly suited for a wedding. And you got a bizarre case where you got couples wants to dress up as a Star Wars theme. Yeah, and you would think maybe perhaps Han Solo and Leia or something, but the groom wants to be Darth Vader and Leia. So they're supposed to be fans of Star Wars. So that's a bit weird. Yeah.
Actually, is it more costly to do these like special themed weddings?
Well, such themed wedding, thankfully, only happen in Australia. So Australian weddings are usually very small, from about 20 packs to about 50 packs. 100 packs, it's a lot to them. Yeah, so with 20 packs, you can definitely splurge on, costumes and stuff.
But what does a wedding usually go for these days? I asked Gordon to give me a breakdown.
The bulk of it will come from your wedding banquet. That's usually about 60 to 70% of the overall budget. Yeah, so let's say if you got one table is about $1,000 and you're inviting 50 guests, that's already $50,000 gone, without excluding cost of gown, photography, rings, invite cards, So that's $50,000 just based on dinner alone. Yeah, so really depends on what you're looking at. Numbers is quite important in the wedding industry.
But most of them usually plan like way ahead and start saving way ahead in advance, right? So in that sense, does that thriftiness help at all? As in, you know?
If you book way in advance, you get to choose your ideal location, and with that in mind, you get to shortlist down which are the more appropriate hotels to book for, in terms of the package, be it $1,000 or $100 or $900, for example. Yeah, but if you have 3 months before your wedding, and most hotels are all fully booked, so you may have to end up at, let's say, at a posh restaurant to accommodate all your guests. So I guess pros and cons, you know. But to me, based on experience, the most serious couples when they are more serious about their wedding, they tend to plan way in advance. Yeah.
But do you also see clients sort of staying away from the big grand hotel dinner celebrations, or maybe like a catered buffet thing at the beach or something? Will that cost cheaper?
Definitely costs cheaper. Just that it seems like the grander weddings tend to cater more for, or to please the parents per se. Yeah, so because the parents have got old friends, you know, from overseas or so you know, they want to get a reputable hotel, you know, for example Shang or St. Regis or the Ritz, things like that. Yeah.
But if there are offers for cheaper wedding packages, perhaps it makes more economical sense to tie the knot now.
Just that we work with several hotels and several vendors. So with that, we have good rapport with them, and we know how they work and what sort of payment they want, and you know, things like that.
But do you notice that they've been also cutting down on the prices or that they're offering, or?
Not yet, but I do know hotels are starting to see the need for this. So without mentioning any hotels, but some of them have already cut back on the package price. So initial price from, let's say, 1,001, you go back down to 1,000. Yeah, or instead of 1,000 plus, it's now 1,000 net, for example. Yeah.
It's also just a general, I don't know, it's an opinion that during the recession, it's not the best time to get married. But is it the case? Because you said that actually business is on the up. So
business is up, just that there are more inquiries. People will still get married end of the day.
But do you think maybe it is kind of like the best time to get married if people are going to start cutting prices?
Well, Chinese horoscope says it's a good time to get married. So be it old-fashioned or not, people still want to get married. So yeah, it's not really due to recession people are not getting married per se, but just cutting back on, or not splurging too much, you know.
Do you think marriage is like a resilient to the recession?
Almost, yeah. Just that instead of spending 100K, you know, you will cut back maybe on 80K or 70K.
What would you say would be your best tips for a couple planning to get married, but they just want to cut down costs where they can?
Plan early, be decisive, don't fickle, and yeah, just enjoy your wedding.
So to couples out there planning to tie the knot, take heed. You might save yourself a fair bit of moolah. And who knows, that could even mean being able to spend a little extra on your honeymoon. But whatever it is, we hope you get the wedding of your dreams. This has been Point Blank. Good night.